Hey there, faith explorers. Today, we're diving into one of the most beautiful and touching stories in the New Testament. The story of a woman whose kindness and compassion literally brought her back from the dead. Her name? Tabitha, or, as some called her in Greek, Dorcas. You might not hear her name as often as Mary or Martha, but trust me, this woman's legacy is one of the most powerful examples of love in action. So, let's step back in time and bring her story to life. Picture the ancient port city of Joppa, sunlight glimmering on the sea, fishermen calling out along the docks, and the smell of salt in the air. Amid the busy streets, there's a quiet home where laughter often echoes, and people come and go with smiles on their faces. That's Tabitha's home, a simple place, but full of warmth. Tabitha wasn't known for preaching sermons or leading crowds. No, she was known for something even more powerful, her kindness. Every day, she sewed garments for widows, made tunics for the poor, and gave food to anyone who needed it. To her, generosity was an act. It was a way of life. People in Joppa didn't just respect her, they loved her. Her hands were always busy, not for herself, but for others. Now, imagine her sitting near the window, the soft light falling on her face as she sews. The hum of her needle through the cloth is steady, peaceful, almost like a prayer. She looks up from her work to smile at a widow who just came by to thank her. To Tabitha, that smile was all the reward she needed. But then, tragedy strikes. One day, out of nowhere, Tabitha falls ill. Maybe it was a fever, maybe something sudden. The Bible doesn't say. What we do know is that the illness came fast and took her life before anyone could understand what was happening. The home that once echoed with laughter is suddenly silent. The women she helped gather around her body, weeping. They wash her, wrap her in linen, and lay her in an upper room, their hearts shattered. Word spreads quickly through Joppa. Dorcas is gone. People can't believe it. How could someone so full of life, so full of light, just be gone? The widows stand together, holding the clothes she made, garments now soaked with tears. Each tunic tells a story, each piece of fabric a memory of love stitched into every thread. But while sorrow fills the air, faith still flickers in their hearts. Someone remembers that nearby, in the town of Lydda, the Apostle Peter is visiting the believers. And so they send for him, "Please come quickly." Peter comes. He's seen miracles before, lame men walking, the sick healed, demons cast out. But when he arrives at Tabitha's house, the scene hits him deeply. The widows surround him, holding up the clothes she made. "Look," they say through tears, "these are the garments she made for us." Peter doesn't see just fabric. He sees a legacy of compassion, a life that changed others quietly but powerfully. He asks everyone to step out of the room. The air grows still. Peter kneels beside her body. Maybe he remembers another upper room, another moment years ago when Jesus took a young girl's hand and said, "Talitha, little girl, get up." And then Peter prays. Not long, not loud, just the kind of prayer that shakes heaven. He turns to Tabitha's still form and says, "Tabitha, get up." And suddenly breath returns. Her eyes open. She looks around, alive. Can you imagine the shock? The quiet gasp as she sits up, Peter taking her by the hand and helping her to her feet. Peter calls the others back in, and when they see her standing there, alive, the room explodes in joy. Tears turn to laughter, mourning turns into praise. The widows who have been weeping now embrace her, unable to contain their joy. Word spreads to the entire city. Tabitha is alive. It's not just a miracle, it's a message. A message that God sees every act of kindness, every quiet gesture of love, every hidden sacrifice. Tabitha's story shows a heart full of compassion has eternal value in God's eyes. She didn't perform grand miracles, but her kindness moved heaven itself. Her resurrection wasn't just about bringing her back. It was about showing that love never dies, that a life lived serving others is a life that touches eternity. From that day on, many people in Joppa believe in the Lord because of what happened to her. The miracle spread, but so did her story, the story of a woman who used her hands not for power or recognition, but for love. Now, picture this, Tabitha, alive again, walking through the marketplace. People stop and stare, whispering, That's her, the one Peter prayed for. But she just smiles humbly and goes right back to doing what she always did, helping, giving, sewing. Because for her, love was never about fame. It was about faith. And maybe that's why her story still inspires us today. We live in a world where people chase recognition, attention, and applause. But Tabitha shows us that the greatest impact often comes from the quietest acts. You don't have to be on a stage to change lives. You don't have to lead thousands to make history. Sometimes, all it takes is a willing heart and a pair of hands ready to serve. Tabitha's legacy reminds us that God values the ordinary done with extraordinary love. Her name, Dorcas, means gazelle, graceful, gentle, and swift. And that's exactly how she lived. Moving gracefully through life, spreading kindness wherever she went. So, the next time you think your work doesn't matter, or that no one sees the little things you do for others, remember Tabitha. God saw her. God remembered her. And through her, he showed the world that love is stronger than death. Her story is a call to every believer. Be the hands that lift, the voice that comforts, the heart that gives, because you never know how far your kindness can go. And that's the story of Tabitha, the woman who turned kindness into her legacy, and whose love was so powerful that God brought her back to finish what she started. If you were touched by her story, imagine how much more powerful it becomes when we live the same way, quietly changing the world one act of love at a time. Until next time, keep your heart open, your hands ready, and your faith alive, because who knows? Your kindness might just be the miracle someone's praying for.